Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 14th of May 2019, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Tuesday's morning session where we're going to have a look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, so now then, let's quickly jump into the charts. Now the first one I want to touch on here is gold. So looking at gold, had a fantastic run yesterday. Of course, as you understand, that the risk off sentiment is now kind of in the air lately, and of course the equity market sold off. We saw some other risk currencies getting bought here, so safe haven currencies. So basically, as is also the gold that finally also kind of took its safe haven status back, and you can see that we had a nice pop here from around the 1282 level, and actually managed to move all the way here towards the psychological 1300, breaking this downside resistance line taken from the high of 20th of February. Now, what's more interesting is that it actually managed to close above this one of our key areas of resistance near the 1296 level. It managed to close above it, still closed slightly fractionally below the 1300 level, but as you can see, it's currently balancing just around there, maybe just a few ticks lower, but still around there and still above this key area of well, previously it acted as resistance, and now it could take the role of a strong area of support, this 1296 zone. So in a way, we could see something like this happening here, where we could see maybe another slide lower, a test of this 1296, and then maybe another push higher. Now we do have some good levels above here. Of course, if we see a push above the 1301 level, that's great. We could see a further acceleration of the price here towards the 1310, 1311 zone, approximately there. That's marked near the highs of the 10th of April. So good potential target. We're going to go slowly, step by step. Of course, if it travels above this, then that's still good news for the bulls. We could see further moves higher here towards the 1320 or above that, but like I said, for now we're just going to target the 1310 zone. First, we may see a small retracement here back down towards the 1296, maybe probably the last resort for the bulls here to let's say to step in again if we see a drop back down lower here, and even a further drop towards the 1288, 89 zone. This time the commodity would be above its downside resistance line, and still this could be a good sign for the bulls. The bulls could take advantage of the lower price and push this one higher again. Now, only if it drops back below the downside resistance line and drops below the 1288 zone, 1289, then, well, I mean, we could consider a further move lower here towards this upside support line, this medium-term upside support line that has been running here from the lows of August last year. So for now, of course, it is looking more positive than negative, but again, let's wait for a possible retracement here, maybe like I said towards the 1296. If it fails to drive below this, then we may see another leg of buying here, so keep your eyes on this one. For those who of course are on the cautious side a little bit more, then you could in a way wait until we see a push above the 1301 zone, so keep your eyes on that one. Very quickly on Bitcoin, so yesterday I talked about this one, and we had a nice move higher here. So this is what I was saying. So I was telling you to keep a close eye on this 6,850 50 zone, 55 area, approximately there. So it never got broken. It acted as a very good bouncing ground here for Bitcoin, and it traveled higher. It broke above this key resistance near the 7,450 and managed to push all the way here to test the psychological 8,000 level. So good news for all those Bitcoin bulls, and of course it tested the area slightly above that, the 8,050 approximately there. And I'm looking at the Bitfinex exchange here. So for now, of course, we are still kind of more bullish than bearish on this one. Especially if we see a nice good push above this recent high near the 8,050 level. For now, of course, what we're going to do here is, of course, we're going to try to find a new possible resistance zone, and given the fact that it broke above this this key area of resistance near the 7,770 zone here that I talked about yesterday, now the next possible target here for Bitcoin could be around here, around the highs of July last year, and that was approximately around the 8,500 zone. So approximately around there, guys. So could be a nice potential target here. Nice beautiful number as well. So keep your eyes on this one. In case this reverses back down and drops below the 7,450 level, now this is where you should become a little bit more cautious. We may see a bit of a correction here, maybe back towards this key area of support near the 6,850 zone, and then we'll take it from there, see if it actually wants to drift lower or not. For now, guys, like I said, it is looking more positive than negative, but again, let's wait for that confirmation break here above these recent highs. This way the crypto would confirm a forthcoming higher high and push further up here, where we could aim for the 8,500 level. Ripple, very interesting as well. So probably the better performer today. So it managed to break this key area of resistance that we had highlighted here previously when we talked about Ripple. So this 0.3280 level, it broke it nicely to the upside, and of course closed above it, closed the 4-hour candle above it, and continued to push higher. So what's more interesting is that it managed to reach the psychological 0.40 level. So basically good performance here from Ripple. Now again, it retraced a little bit lower, back a little bit to the downside here from the 0.40 level, and but still remains above this other key area of resistance. Well, previously resistance, now support near the 0.3835 zone, approximately there. And just to show you what that level was here in the past, that was the highest point of April this year. So basically good target here, good important level. If we see the crypto traveling back below this, then we may maybe see a bit more a retracement here. We could maybe travel all the way here towards the 0.3750 level. Also acted as a good area of resistance, as you can see here back in April. And then we'll take it from there, see what it wants to do. So in other words, what we could see here is something like this, just in case, like I said, if this travels back below the 0.3835 zone, we may see this one, such a move here, if this is there 0.3750 level will hold. In terms of the downside here now, basically for us now to get, let's say, to take a more negative or bearish approach here, we would like to see a nice good drop back below the 0.35 level. This could potentially open the path towards slightly lower levels. For those who like their trend lines, you could in a way kind of mark something like this here as well, and wait until we see a drop below this, and then kind of aim for lower areas. So in other words, for those who are more on the cautious side, 0.3420 could be that target to kind of confirm further declines. So for now, guys, of course, it is looking more bullish than bearish, but again, do not exclude the possibility of seeing maybe a small retracement before another leg of buying. AUDCHF, very quickly on this one, very interesting pair. So managed to break one of our key important support zones, and this one, as you can see, the highlighted one here near the 0.7025. You can see how well this level played previously in the past here, and it acted as a support level and also as a resistance in January, and now it's back below this. In a way, we could see maybe a small retracement, a little bit more recovery here back to the upside. As you can see, the pair is quite oversold already on the 4-hour chart. It found its good support near the 0.6975 level here, from which it rebounded, and now kind of it seems that it's trying to push higher. It still has some room here to maybe move a little bit higher and then maybe potentially reverse back down. We will only consider such a scenario if we see the pair traveling higher and failing to push above the 0.7025 level, or in other words, maybe actually failing to close at least the 4-hour candle above the 0.7025 level, and only then we will get probably more comfortable with the downside again, where we could see maybe a retest of the 0.6975 level, or even actually a drop further down. But for now, this is kind of the idea. This is the scenario. We may, like I said, we may see a small retracement here back to the upside. Keep a close eye on that one. Still, the pair remains below this tentative downside resistance line taken from the high of the 23rd of April. And even if, let's say, if it breaks above and closes the 4-hour candle above the 0.7025, of course, we may see a bit more upside here. We maybe consider we might consider the 0.7065 level again, but in a way, it could travel all the way here back towards this this downside resistance line for a quick test, and then we'll take it from there, see what he wants to do. Does it want to break it, or actually does it want to sell off again? So for now, this is the situation. Let's see how this is going to play out. If we see more upside here, be very careful around the 0.7025. Euro dollar, very quickly, yesterday managed to push higher and managed to test this downside resistance line that I talked about every time when I talked about euro dollar, and but kind of failed to close above it, and you can see that it slid back down, and it's now stuck here again, stuck here above this 1.1215 level and this downside resistance line. Again, the same game plan remains here. We need to see that nice good break and a close above this, of course, not only this downside resistance line, but also above this 1.1260 zone. So this way we could then potentially target slightly higher levels, as you can see by the arrow here. In terms of the downside, for us to get comfortable with the downside, maybe at least in the near term, we would like to see a drop back below the 1.1175, and this way we could then target these April lows again. But also for those who like to trade it short, the short-term time frame, so basically a drop below this 1.1215, of course, could potentially test this upside support line, and if that fails to withhold, now this could lead towards maybe a slide here towards this 1.1175, but this is to be honest, could be a little bit of a risky move here, because at any point it could reverse and push higher. So that's why we do have this level here, the 1.1175, just for that better confirmation. In a way, if you are willing to kind of maybe take advantage of this area here, then well, keep a tight stop loss, guys. And the last pair, very quickly, I wanted to quickly update you on, and that's EURUSD. This is what I was talking about yesterday in my Traders Espresso and Traders Tea Time. Basically, we had a nice push higher here above the 1.6115. That's great for the bulls. We managed to break it to the upside, and during my tea time, I was talking about this level here, the 1.6186. So it managed to test that area. As you can see, this area previously was a nice area of support. It acted as a nice area of support here back on the 2nd of January, but this time it took the role of resistance from which it retraced, and this is exactly what I was talking about. So we may see small retracement back down. If it continues to trade above the 1.6115, that's good news for the bulls. We may see this one curving up and pushing higher, but what I would probably suggest here now is to probably wait, just to be on the cautious side, wait for a break of the 1.6186 level, and if we do see a break above this would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and we could potentially see this one traveling further up. So for now it's stuck here. Of course it still looks positive. The only problem here is that on the shorter time frame, it is looking quite overbought. So in a way we could see maybe see a slide lower, and if we do see a slide lower still, the pair remains above this upside support line taken from the low of the 19th of April. So that could be this last resort for the bulls to step in here. But if this upside support line fails to hold, then we may see this one traveling further down. So in other words, guys, for now, from the very short-term perspective, a nice good break above the 1.6186 could potentially open the path towards slightly higher levels, and by higher levels we need to go back here again towards January time, and basically try to find a nice good potential resistance zone, and one of those could be this one right here near the highs of the 3rd of January, or should I say intraday swing high of the 3rd of January near the 1.6310 zone. So approximately there, 6305, 6310, that could be this nice potential target for Euro Aussie. In terms of the downside here, from the short term, very short term perspective, a drop back below the 1.6115 could open the path back down towards this upside support line. So and then we'll take it from there and see what it wants to do with this upside support line. Okay guys, I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching and listening, and if you want to join me later on at my Traders Tea Time, and that's as always 13:15 GMT time. But for now, I hope you have a wonderful trading day, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.